Just like the title says, Wuthering Waves is experiencing a fake prosperity. This isn't just doom posting or slippery slope logic, it's how I truly felt over the past few days. On one hand, you have big streamers giving the story high praise, with countless reaction videos racking up huge view counts. On the other hand, you have countless players complaining about the actual gameplay experience and the salt is real. That honeymoon phase is quickly turning into a nightmare. Originally, I wanted this video to just praise the version 1.3 story presentation for reaching new heights. But then I thought about the actual players who are dealing with a worse gameplay experience than ever before. Myself included. I can't just turn a blind eye to that.
Yeah.
Those big streamers only play through the story, they have no idea what the average player actually experiences. I haven't seen a single one of them speak up. Then again, they probably don't even play the game, they just hand it off to account pilots and only show up to watch the cutscenes. Anyway, this video will be split into two parts. First, I'll talk about the Wuthering Waves story, which I'll give a very high rating. In the second half, I'll discuss the current gameplay experience and what needs to be optimized. From inspiration to innovation, that's how I'd summarize this new story update. The mecha battle in 1.3 shows how Wuthering Waves moved from inspiration to innovation. People used to think Kuro Games were just fans of the Soulsborne series because of all the Dark Souls and Elden Ring references in Empty Firmament, but their true love is actually Armored Core. You could see hints of it in earlier versions, like the Ibis-style mecha. Even the Glacio Dreadmane felt like a nod to the Iceworm. I thought they'd just copy Armored Core's combat again, but the mecha battle in 1.3 actually felt fresh and original. First, let's talk about a very sharp issue in the gacha community right now, something I've wanted to address for a while. I'll take this chance to share my take on the plagiarism versus inspiration debate. It's common in gacha games, you can find examples everywhere, like in Star Rail, Enfield, or even the recent Neverness to Everness referencing Dead Cells. Honestly, there's not much difference between the two terms. Inspiration and plagiarism are just different degrees of the same behavior. To me, the real distinction is whether you add incremental value. That's the most intuitive way to tell. Most games on the market have their own core gameplay. Their core gameplay is very different from the single-player titles they draw from. Gacha games take those elements and fit them into their own world building. These borrowed parts are usually just the icing on the cake, the game would still work without them. So how do we define plagiarism? I think substantial similarity is the clear line. Look at the recent Nintendo lawsuit against Palworld. It's because Palworld's core monster-catching mechanic overlapped too much with Pokemon. But then Palworld ended up being more fun than Pokemon, so Nintendo got salty and slapped them with a lawsuit. Back to Wuthering Waves, the 1.3 mecha battle. In my opinion, Kuro did the absolute best they could within their capabilities. We already saw hints of this with the Threnodian. The mecha battle was actually foreshadowed a long time ago. Back then, I wondered how they presented to the players. I thought it might be like Titanfall, where you control the mecha in first person for immersion. But the devs at Kuro Games are clearly huge Armored Core fans.
Yeah.
The mecha combat design really captures that Armored Core vibe. I call it an innovation because they didn't just blindly copy AC. Think about it, if they tried to do a 1:1 replica of Armored Core's gameplay, they'd likely be limited by their technical budget and resources. Like I said, this battle is the best they could do within their limits. What is Wuthering Waves' biggest strength? It's their story presentation. So, they cleverly combine simple combat mechanics with stunning cinematic direction. Toss in some hype music, and you've got a visual and auditory feast. As the saying goes, the mountain of talent has no peak, and there is always another victory beyond the end. This cinematic sequence is another milestone for the Wuthering Waves story. I often hear people say the story is getting better, but is the game actually getting more fun? As they say, a 1,000-mile dike can collapse from a single ant-hole. Beneath the surface of this prosperity, there are issues. Lately, I've seen a lot of videos about how bad the echo farming experience is. If you're a player who just pulled a new character and wants to farm a set of echoes, once you run out of wave plays, you have two choices. One is to farm the overworld. The other is to go to Tayset Fields. Farming the overworld has low drop rates and is way too RNG dependent. Plus, running around the map is a huge hassle. So you look at Tayset Fields, but then you see the most brain-dead design ever. They cram 8 different sets into the rewards. This tanks your chances of getting the set you actually want. Your only other option is merging, but wait, merging is capped at 10 per week. All these restrictions mean your drop rate is abysmal. In the end, one-cost echoes have become the hardest to get, not to mention the soul-crushing random substats. It makes graduating a character's build feel impossible. Look at my own progress. So far, my 4-cost and 3-cost echoes have 4 effective substats, but my 1-costs are nowhere near finished. I can't even get double crit on them. Then there's the mobile optimization issues. People are also complaining about the lack of permanent game modes and the over-reliance on minigame events. But I guess you can't please everyone. So, to each their own. Wuthering Waves' success comes from Kuro's ability to iterate quickly and respond to player feedback. So, filing those feedback tickets really does help. I really hope the game keeps getting better. If you have suggestions for optimization, let's discuss them civilly in the comments.
Yeah.
That's all for this video. I'm a new creator, see you in the next one. Bye.